Okay, guys, it's JD coming to you. Today is Friday, August 27th, 10:53 a.m. Central. Jerry Fitz in the room, and we're looking at the SPY. We're talking about not getting ahead of price and finding entries. Uh, well, and I'll go back over what I just showed with Jerry. I just entered the SPY today on a trade on this candle. Once this daily candle broke above the previous high of this pullback. So the previous high was 448.86. 448.86. I'm not getting in when it's pulling down here, trying to jump it and say it might go back up. We wait to seek some type of trigger, and the trigger is the previous day's high in a bull trend. Guys, write it down, please, because everyone is giving, their entries, and it's a risk. It's just a honestly, it's a countdown until it doesn't work for you. It's gonna get you. I promise you. Please stop that. So we have to have an identifiable trend. So we have a bull trend. This is a bullish channel. We're looking at a bull flag. If you study that, but the idea is like a push up to resistance, pull back to support, and our entry is when it makes a new high. This is a daily chart. This is even applicable, guys, on the weekly chart. And we have a fresh week. That means like a fresh week means a new high, like a run up and a pullback. It's it. You have a new high after a pullback. That means a fresh day or fresh week. So we had a push up right here. Let's just walk through it on because guys, you guys have to get this because I'm seeing too many people buying at the bottom of a channel or like right here. You don't automatically buy on these days. You don't automatically do that. You need a setup. We can't, and then it's not an excuse to say, well, I can't be at the computer all day. Well, we don't. If you can't be at the computer all day, it's we do it end of the day overnight hold and exit in the morning. So, but the setup has to be on the daily chart. So we have a push up. We, can, I mean, you can get in on a fresh new high right there, but it's kind of a little bit of exhaustion. So we had that. We had the pullback for 3 days, even a little bit lower the next day. This is somewhat of a hammer candle, but there's no entry yet. We haven't made a new high. The next day was the entry. That's the new high. And we would set our stop at the low of this previous candle. Or you set it whatever your account will allow. Now, the entry's there, and we're looking for a push up to at least this level, 350. Um, who knows where it's, if you listen to Mark Douglas and properly apply it, every
Mhm.
trade we don't know, and I'm not just saying it to you, Jerry. I'm saying to the group,
Okay, yeah, no, I
and
understand.
and we don't know what's going to happen with each trade. All we know is that we know the setups, we know the patterns, and the probability says that more times than not that this has been a profitable move within a bull trend or whatever. But sometimes percentages go against us. That's why we set stops. So entry on the new high, and it ran up. We could take profit there, or we could take profit like we called for at the top of this one right here. Yeah, it pulls back. We could take our profit. But if you really want strong gains, longer term gains, we need to just let things ride a little bit. Even if our stop is down here, that pullback would just test us. It would test us, man. We'd be like, we're giving back all this profit, but it hadn't stopped us out if we're using the technical stop. And it never gets below that level. That's bullish. Now, some people, if they hadn't gotten in over here, they would get in over here. And I see it every day. And I'm like, well, I got to call you. I call him out. Gino. Gino he's a really instinctive trader. So is Nesha. Gino will get in on the pullback right here because hey, a double bottom. I need it. It's called jumping price. When it pulls back here, man, it can break this threshold and retest these levels. we need confirmation or the trigger. The only entry on this one occurs when the next day when we make a new high from a pullback. You can't do it. You can't risk it because this right here is a double bottom and people hopped in. You see it right here with the wick. They hopped in like early that morning. It opened down here. It opened higher than the close and people pushed it up and that thing sold off for 2 more days, gap down. That's the epitome of catching a falling knife, but you're thinking it's a double bottom and people hopped in. It's going to burn us. We can't do it. And please don't do that until you see a pullback, you make a new high. And at some other time, we'll figure out how to measure the distances, you know. But a lot of times I try to go up to like a double top, or I try to maybe get 20, 30% at the most. On the options trade, if you're doing shares, you're not going to pull in 30% as easy as options. That's something we have to understand. Um, okay. This is again like here.
I got a
Go ahead.
question, JD.
Gotcha. What's up, Jerry?
Okay, so the on 928, that candle, that doji, the green doji you're looking at, you said
Yeah.
that's a new high. So even though I'm looking at the doji and it's a
hmm
new high and it's green, you say you still consider that as an entry, like a
Yeah,
confirmation?
because that like during that process, now it's not the strongest candle to enter on.
Right, right. So that's what I'm fishy about because I've seen those a few times and
That and
not
in the
enter because
reverse.
right,
Yeah. Well, okay. If we trust our process, like the pullback to support, and when it makes a new high, we just have to go with it because when we get in that trade, we don't know at the end of the day that it's going to be a doji. So
right,
the chart will look like, might be a 5 minute, 30-minute chart. We might enter on a bull flag, you know, and but
okay,
at the end of the day, there could be a sell-off, which there was, and we have to just live with that,
gotcha.
you know. So now what I don't do is if this is a doji at the end of the day and I'm trying to find my entry and I have a daily candle that's a doji, yeah, we can't rely on that. But if we're involved in that day, that doji hadn't formed until we're done trading, so we don't know it's a doji at that time.
Right,
So really, um, so the entries here, even the next day, make another high. There's still time to run because that's a confirmation candle that makes another high. That's bullish. It
yeah,
opened. It opened, really didn't even sell off, and it just continued. So we were going to get resistance anyway, and the next day we take profit, or we take profit on this day. But as we move forward, it's a push up and a pull back. You enter on a new high. Now this is a really tight bull channel. Not a lot of pullbacks and entries to get into, but there is one. We could, I mean, that's a pullback. Light, it didn't make a new low, but this is the clean one where a pullback makes a new low. Not a major low, but it could go. It'll go. Pullbacks go lower than like one of the previous days. So push up. Oh, pullback lower than a previous day. So I'm entering the next. I can't enter this day. I cannot enter to on this red candle on a red day. Even though the end of the day, some people would try to jump it because the buyers came in at the end of the day and pushed it up. That's a risky play, but
right.
we can do it if we set the stop and buy a little time. That's Gino. I want you to buy more time when you do those instinctive plays. Same with Nesha. Uh, Jerry, you're pretty precise with your entries and disciplined with that. But I just wanted to show you this right here as we get that channel going. Tight bull channels. There's people who like to short these, like because it's going up too much. Tight bull channels continue to run. This is the weekly chart. When it's a channel, I mean it's like here, that's a trading range, but it's a bull channel upwards. So we're making higher lows and higher highs. And that is a strong week right there
Wow.
because previous high is 447.11, and today's high so far is 449.98. So our entry, what I put in the, and are you able to see what's going on in the Patreon? Like when I put a post.
Yes, yes. I usually see them at the end of the day.
Okay, cool.
So usually at the end of the day, kind of my nighttime review.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I think I posted a question the other day too about some of the stocks that you posted up.
I'm sorry if I missed it, man. Okay.
Oh no, there was no big thing. It's just part of my research that I was doing. That's all. No big thing.
Well, when we see a bullish trend like this on the weekly, that gives us confidence. I could even set my stop. I could set the stop at like 435, like at the bottom of this doji.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it falls below this level, it'll probably come down and maybe retest that. So, but let's go to the daily. There's no reason to short this. And really, if I buy enough time, there's no reason for me to get out of my spy calls. But,
Right.
you know, this thing is making higher highs. Now, this is the perfect pullback, push up, pull back. That's a tougher entry right here because we have we have previous highs that are higher. So we're coming up and we're going to bang our head against resistance, right? But it
Right.
pushed through, made a double top, and it kind of slowed down a little bit. It it broke through the double top. It now like okay, I'll show it to you like this. That's one top, and I call this like because it opened here, closed here, went that high, but made a double top, but it broke through it and broke through. And a lot of times, remember when I say you break above resistance, a lot of times you come back and retest. So pushed up. So that's kind of like a breakout above the double top. It pulled back to support. And at support, you don't just stick right at support all the time. You pull back and sometimes you push through that fence to test it. So it pulled back. People will sometimes they'll get in right there, man.
Oh
They'll
wow.
get, they'll get in right there. And that's not the craziest entry, but it's not a there's no setup. It's just you're guessing and trying to jump price. We need a new high to get the entry. So what's the entry? This was Thursday. The high was 448.86. Entry is anything above that. And you pick the time like
That's
some if you
449. Okay.
yeah, I mean 448.86 was I put that down as the target entry for us. And
Oh,
but it was after the first 30 minutes to an hour of the market. I put that in Telegram and
Telegram.
pictures.
Yeah.
So when it hit that, it broke above it. It doesn't always do that. I mean, when it broke, it doesn't always stay up there. But this is a strong candle, daily candle, because there's barely a bottom wick so far. So it opened and powered pretty much all day. It tested, this is the 5 minute chart on the SPY. It tested a little bit, had one, but it held its levels and ran above the VWAP, which is the yellow line. The red line, guys, is the 30 exponential moving average. It's a 30 EMA. The blue line is the 10 exponential moving average, 10 EMA. So I put that on my minute charts, like my 5 minute, 10 minute, or whatever, so I can know. Like I like for my stocks to get above the VWAP, and then if they hug that 10, it might pull back a little bit, but they tend to ride the 10 for a good period of time. That's a bullish trade. So let's see, 449. And I like let's see what else. I want to show this. And I'm guys, I'm doing this to help everybody. Nobody's perfect. But this right here, this is a risky stock. But if you buy enough time, I think Gino has October calls in it. He got in yesterday. The issue with that for me is there's a we're right. Let's see if I get a little bit closer. We're back out. So we're in a bearish trend. It's kind of tabling off. Found a little bit of support down here. But that's 3 days and it's coming down. It was coming down. There's support down there, but there's no entry. This could be a two-legger. This could be a green day and then another leg down. We or it could just bounce and it could go. But there is absolutely no entry. The entry will be we make a new high to show that we have strength. Then we look for the options and you look for the option that fits. I think Gino got the Octobers, which there's some action in there, low price. But in it, my boy Gino also said he bought it because the price was low. It was cheap. That's gonna get us cheap costs money. Cheap will cost us in the long run, guys. I don't want us to do that just because something's cheap, and we frame it around, you know, we'll do confirmation bias and say there's I don't know, there's a lot of open interest in it and XYZ. So I don't think let me just I'm trying to pull it up. Very important to me. But what I do like, and he got the 750 call. Okay, Gino, why are we going with the 16 Delta, man? That Delta. I'm not trying to call you out, but I'm trying to tell you how we're looking at it. It's the percentage possibility is 16% that we're going to be profitable. Very high implied volatility, and it's if anything, spend that extra money and get that 57 Delta. Go 40 or higher. Don't do 16s on a low flyer. It just it's I don't know, fool's gold if you hit, man. It's not really a quality setup, and and I know you know the program more so than that. Um, I'm gonna give you another one. If we put, and I hate that. Well, no, I don't. We had to learn it, and I've been nice. But look, got into a call on September 17th, $100 call. And the only reason was probably because, hey, it's sold off and it can't go any lower. People should buy this up. Why? A gap down that strong? We don't buy that, man. And guys, I'm gonna pause for 1 second. And Jerry, give me 1 second. I need to take this call. I'm gonna resume recording. Okay, Gino got in yesterday on a bearish engulfing candle. There's no entry, no reason for an entry. All it is a guess, and we're hoping. We have to climb back up, and yeah, gap up, fill the gap. Gap down, yeah, it's gonna fill a gap, but it's when you shoot down this sharply. I mean, now I do see what Gino was looking at. The double bottom area right in there makes no difference right now. Even if we caught the double bottom, it could bounce and continue down, which is going to do. We're looking at probably testing this low, testing the $90 and even, who knows, because there's a gap to fill all the way down to here. The high was a high on that 82.41. Not to say it's going to happen, but it's going to hunt that gap if it gets down there some days, and we'll end up at some point possibly. There's another gap to hunt right there. The high is 76.21 was the low. 76.88, there's a gap to fill there. You don't have to always fill the gaps. The majority of the gaps get filled. At some point, AMD fills her gaps all the time. It's we're down. It, Dollar Tree was down more than they just showed it, but I mean, the last 2 days, it's taken a hard, deadly hit with volume. Now, if we get buried down below the VY, I mean below the RSI, below 30, it could stay down there for a week or two, or maybe a day. Who knows? We, we don't want to trade this play to dive into that. That's we're asking for it. That's the only issues. The problem with that is that everybody we want to get it in cheaper a little bit, and it just sometimes we have we take those gambles, and if our entire if the majority of our plays are those gambles, um, we're going to be in trouble. I'm trying to find one more play, and that we want to evaluate. Gino got a put yesterday and got out today, but I don't. GE is just they kind of did the reverse split. They're in the trading range. The put didn't come. I mean, it was lucky, man. There, well, not lucky. You did a good job of getting out, but this is a bullish move. The next yesterday, open and went down. You enter if it makes a new low. You know, makes a push below a certain previous level, then you get the entry. The strong entry is if we pull back and fall below this previous major low, right in this area. The low is 98.60. Then it's a good chance we blow past that and test this area, down to 96. But that was yesterday was a bare leg and a bull flag, which is trying to gonna go test up here, maybe the 106.50. We don't do that. Don't do that. Don't just do, you know, because it ran up for 4 days. I don't know the logic behind it, but um, here's another play. The plays I call out, guys, those I give you the fresh days. Not to say you have to take them, but I'd rather see you lose money doing that than make money. Well, you don't have to always be right. We want to make money, but it's just not sustainable with the methods we're using. Like this is a perfect bull flag pullback, and I was looking for the entry. I gave Nvidia's entry today was 223.40, and it's gone up over $1 off that call. The entry is 223.40. You can come in and take profit. The other call today, now the one call that's not going my way is Western Union, but I'm I'm not going long on this. This is a short play, and I'm cool with the pull up. I'm cool with it bouncing a little bit today. It's if you look at it, this is a bear trend, and it's even a descending triangle. If I want to just call that a pattern, price consolidation getting tight. It'll either break out up this way and hit plenty of resistance, or it breaks this wedge, breaks down, and it might not happen today. It might happen Monday. So it, yesterday was a sell-off. We had to push up in it, and really yesterday was the entry. But I was comfortable with coming in today. I went below my entry price. Next call, Apple above 150, but Netflix above 552.60. It's been running all day, up $6.88. Let's see. And I hope I'm recording. Let's make sure. Yeah.
They said it was.
Okay, still going.
Yeah.
Now this Netflix play, if somebody's in it, this was a good entry. It ran up, it might retest. The stop has to be pretty tight, like right there at the bottom of these candles. We're not trying to do a wide stop. Netflix is tight. Tight stop is like at the low of 545.90, or even tighter. If you know, if it, you can do it at the bottom of this candle. But this entry plays. Uh Last one. Let's go with the Q. Click. Click was click. Is at 68. The entry was 67.87. So it looks like maybe a cup and handle setting up at some point. I don't like click as much because the gap here, but the play was solid enough for me to call it out. Not a long play. Next one, the Qs. It broke that channel. Now it started another channel. We have a bull trend. And fresh day. Breakout, pullback. We could have entered right here a few days ago. Ran into resistance, especially now. On the like that doji day right there, we're not entering on the doji day. We could enter on something else and it turns into a doji. But if we see like yesterday was a doji, we need to wait to see what it's going to do. So it pulled back and it went below and made a new low. Our entries when it makes a new high, and it's done that today, and it triggered. And this is a trade, and if it goes above that, which is above the 375.39, it's still a strong play. Still a strong play. And does it make sense, Jerry, about the push up, pull back, and then make the new high for the entry?
Yes, sir. That
Okay.
definitely makes sense.
Okay. And then I use my 5-minute chart for entering my trades. So, people would, everybody likes to get in when it's going down because we wait until it makes a new high. And that's the entry for that, for the day. And we already have our stop set, whether it's down here. And when we enter, we just let it ride. If it comes back and stops us out, we get stopped out. If it doesn't, it keeps going. We just have to let it live. Next
Right.
one, final one for the video is Saba for Merle. We have to stop trading Saba. If you like it or you love it, it's a play for long-term buy and hold. But it looks like a record scratch. We can't trade something like this. There's no identifiable trend on the weekly. Nothing really. The trend is bearish, and it's probably going to come down and test that. And if you're in it, make it a long-term play because there's no rhyme or reason behind the moves. And people always say in biotech, well, they have news about a new product or a drug or sure they do. Everybody has news about it, but how does that apply to a consistent process? We don't know what they're going to say next. Like 2 days ago, uh, let's say a couple of days ago, what did it say? Cassava granted patent, on the 24th. It was granted a patent. What was the 24th, 23rd, 24th? It gapped up that day or popped up. So that was bullish news, but it still closed lower. Then it sold off the next 2 days after a patent was granted. And then it just comes out, Cassava Sciences responds to allegations. And people say, "Oh, it's just overblown. That's old news." Okay, but it's still responding in some kind of way. And then, it'll sync with Alzheimer's drug mired in controversy. But several weeks ago, the Alzheimer's drug hit and it was popular. It's so random. And look, cassava describes allegations regarding trial data as false. Shares tumble. Okay, so it tumbles on the 25th. Now everything is good with cassava this morning. It's still down $7 or down 9%. But it, how can we trade something this volatile? It's you know we can say, well, it's up. I got in this morning right here, and I'm going to get out. Just go ahead if you like it. Set a time horizon of 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, or whatever, and buy shares on the pullbacks, or be very careful while it's mired in controversy. That's pretty much all I have to say on that. It's either we're going to get burned really hard, and we'll say, okay, I need to make a change, or we'll get very lucky. And I just think everybody needs to be conscious of, if you get into a trade, the only way you get in is if there is an identifiable setup. We cannot do this anymore, man. If we can't do it, we can't go into talk and and rationalize. We can't rationalize that three three red candles pull back. We can rationalize getting in at Monday if we make a new high, but this could go down further, just like DLTR. So, and and it happens, guys. We just have to, like right now, I'm in DocuSign. I'm down, but I got in. I got in over here on a new high, and I missed my exit. Literally, it was, and I'm trading in Robinhood, so I don't have stop. I didn't have my parameter. The DocuSign was trading in Robinhood, so I didn't have the setups, my stops like I wanted in my take profits. But so I had enough time. So I said, I'm going to let this ride. Really, the stop is to trust it down to here, and kind of tough to do. So I've moved my stop up to like right there, 280. But I had to just live with it. Now I'm looking for a retest of that 310. We'll see what happens, guys. But anyway, uh, I'll stop recording. But do you have any questions, Jerry? Or
No, it was pretty clear. I want to thank you for that. I was gonna ask you to pull up a stock I've been charting actually for the last, actually since yesterday because I was home.
okay,
ADSK Autodesk.
okay, DSK. Okay,
ADS. Okay,
I,
yeah.
yeah, I got it.
Oh,
Right.
well, sorry about that.
Yeah. We had a pullback.
Yeah,
Are you
it had
in yet?
earnings yesterday. No,
Okay,
then I couldn't get a find an entry yesterday. I watched it all day long.
good.
Um,
Because there
yeah,
wasn't an entry.
yeah,
That earnings gap down to
yeah.
support, there's going to be an entry, and it's probably going to happen Monday. Because to get in today, where do we have to get to?
Above that red candle,
Yeah, for it to trigger,
right?
we have to get it. It's a fool's folly to go in today on, this is called an inside candle, where that candle's larger than this candle. I mean, on
Right.
all ends, where it's engulfed by.
That's a harami, right?
Yeah, bearish. I need to look again. I don't
Yeah.
really call out the Haramis,
Oh,
Harambe, or as
the
much a
bearish.
Harami, but I mean, yeah, it's, or I call it an inside candle. But the Monday may be the day where we get in on a new high, and we set the stop at the bottom of this red candle, or the bottom of this candle right here.
Yeah, I couldn't find one even on the 5 minute. I know they went there because of the earnings and all that stuff, but still, it was just nothing. I watched it all day long.
Well,
Uh,
it, well, okay, like there was there it, we could have watched it for 24 hours straight. There was not going to be an entry yesterday, because we would have to make a new high.
yeah, I was hoping, but nothing. The other reason too was looking at options. I used on Fidelity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the open interest was so low on some of these contracts. I mean, some of them were like 10. I think there
10
was one
cents.
for three. Yeah, there was one for like 310. I think that's September, no, no,
Hmm.
March of 2022, got a
Ah,
659 open interest. That was the only one consistent, but all of them were like 2, 10, 7.
okay.
Um, so yeah, that kind of turned me off a little bit, but
Well,
I was more, it's mostly for practicing purposes,
got
for
you.
charting.
Well, tell me this, man. So you looked at it all day yesterday. It's sold off. But you see, I think you're understanding it more now. But now that you
Yes,
understand it, the gap
yes,
down, was there
yes.
any chance to find an entry? I mean, you can watch it all day, but where would it have to go to be an entry? Like it opened here, pushed up, then went down here. It doesn't matter the time frame. We try to use the daily chart as the measuring stick
Gotcha.
for to trigger the trade. Uh, we want the
So
trend on
yesterday wouldn't have mattered anyway,
I mean, it would have to get above that previous high
right?
because that's a previous high. Then the next day, it made a high of 343.56. Next day, we open up down here all the way. After the
Yeah.
earnings, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter about earnings, whatever the news is. We have to get above that, or it's going to continue down.
Right.
It's up today, but it we it might bang its head in 2 days.
And go
If
back
we
down.
Yeah, and it could go in a trading range right there. I mean, because I believe it's going to continue up because it's a bull trend.
It is.
If we look at it, that's a bullish trend. But I mean, it could always pull back to the trend line. It could stick right over here where the double tops are,
Yep.
and it could, there's any number of trying to get there. We go. Any number of areas that could be support, and it showed the support. I mean, the double tops pretty much right there. Price is hanging out there. It could come back down and touch that, or Monday we could push and stair step up, man. Like look at the spy. The spy caught that rhythm and it's riding that 5 minute chart. Not to say, hey, yeah, JD was right. No, I, the risk was, you know, let me see how many day trades I have left. One. Okay. All right. And the Nvidia is pushing up a little bit now. For me to get in, let's do Nvidia, and that'll be the last one. And
Okay, no problem.
DocuSign's pulling back. Pfizer. Now the only real gamble I have going right now is a Pfizer call that I got into um, off the news of they were approved, full approval. But it, I was in applied materials this morning. This off of that entry was the other day when I put it in the. Let's just pull it up on the screen. Applied materials, perfect day. Now it's a little chop above, so that's why I took profit. But we had a pullback, very choppy, choppy, choppy. I was looking for a new high. Even that day was a new high, but it was a red candle. I didn't. Did I get in on the 9? No, I got in on the 20. Applied materials. The date was the 25th. Zoom in off of a kind of a doji. I got in there, not as strong as I wanted it, but that was cool. We're in a bull. It was a bullish trend. Had a pullback yesterday. Didn't fall below my support, or didn't fall below my stop. And today was a breakout candle. And I've
Nice.
sold into strength. Um, so right now that play is pretty much done for now. I think we're gonna have some exhaustion. Who knows? Now Nvidia is another perfect setup for me. Bull flag off of a little bit of exhaustion, but it's still not overbought. Run up, it built a range, it broke down, We could have entered here. We could have entered on the new high there, but that was 3 candles breaking through a trend line. I wanted to see some consistency, and it broke through the top of my previous wedge. Cool. Broke out, exhausted a little bit, pulled back, and it made a new high today. Like the push up, pull back. The entry was anything above 223.40. Broke above that, and it's broken above that previous double top. So it was today for my entry for my play that I was going to do. It was either NVIDIA or the SPY, actually, or the Qs. I chose the SPY because the options fit my budget a little bit better. It's a perfect bull flag. Perfect.
Okay.
Now we had increasing volume on 2 days, volume pullback. So I'd like to see this volume get above the 34.7 million. That would be wonderful. Let's check the SPY's volume. I don't mean to hold you all morning, man.
No. And it's all right.
Okay, look at this, Jerry. Push up, pull back. That's the perfect bull flag on the SPY. I was in puts yesterday off the situation in Kabul. And now we can measure this. This will be I keep saying this is the last. Let's remove the drawing. This is called a measured move, or called either a measured move or a one-to-one move. So made a new high right here, and I'm going to measure from the new high, up to where it closed right there. So that I like to be a little conservative, even if it could be a little higher, but let me do this. I'll put the gray in there. Let me go darker. But still, that's the first move that we're looking at. And a lot of times you get a one-to-one move or a measured move, which like the breakout area was right. It broke out above the, pull back, made a new high. So where it makes a new high, that's the entry, starts my measurement up to where we open, and it closed right there. So that's the distance now. I copy this box, duplicate drawing, and I do it where, you could start, actually you start where it opens, or you start where it breaks above, but it really needs to start where it opens for the day. And what's the high of that box? 454.76. So we'll look at the take profit of like 454. Just to be conservative, let me
Gotcha.
create alert 454. And I'm writing that down. Take profit 454. My stop isn't set. Right now, my stop is going to be below this right here. Let's see what that is. That's 446. What's the low of this? 447. I think this, I'm going to tighten that stop. The stop will be at 447. And if you guys have Thinkorswim, this is how we measure it. We can use it. Hopefully y'all are still with me.
Yeah.
And all right, I right click it. I left click this, create a closing order. And right here, move it, change it from limit order, put it to stop, change this from day to good till canceled. And I said, I'm only up, just fractionally, but the stop, 447 is going to be the stop. So look down right here, how this changes. Anytime the option, I got in at 390, If I keep lowering it, that keeps going down. So if I want to go down, let's see what happens if I put it at $3. That corresponds to 448.21 on the chart. So this is how you can say I'm going to use the stock price to take me out of my option. And I said the stop price is going to be 447. I mean, if you can see it just going down right over here. And
Yeah, that's 258. See it.
yeah. And so let's just say 447. So 234 is the stop price. I was in at 390. Stop is 234 for now. And 447. So let's go ahead and confirm that. And the stop order is in. View the order stops at 234. Then doesn't tell you what it corresponds to, but we already know it corresponds to 447. And 450.04. Take profits at 454. So we're just going to leave that. This and that's this is a play. If it breaks down on me, it breaks down on me. But the probability of this being a profitable trade is much stronger than me hopping in on let's see, people were hopping in the, I don't know, let's see if the Facebook, every shoot, Facebook is a play. The, where we have push up, we had the pullback, enter on a fresh day, or when I say fresh day, that's a new high. Boom, clean. None of this coming on these pullbacks. You enter on a new high, but you really want to get above that if you were trying to do it because it came back and retested this. So, yeah, people will buy on this, but you don't buy there or here. Let it make a new high, and that's still risky. You might want to make it a little bit higher. So, it, just consider that, guys. Please, and I'm gonna go ahead and leave it with that today. So, let me stop the recording.